I'll go ahead and kick things off, and I'll turn it over to you guys. If you guys have a question for Fabrice, please use the raise my hand option. Fabrice, here we are at the start of a new season. How's the team navigating preparations for Saturday's game against San Diego?
Yeah, look, really good. I think preseason has gone extremely well, and good to have a lot of our internationals back, both senior but also youth. And so it's been a good week of training. So we're excited for this trip to San Diego.
Thank you for that. We'll start with Dustin. Go ahead.
Hey, Fabrice, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I know we talked in the preseason. You guys brought a lot of your starters back, but also a lot of new depth, a lot of competition at positions. How do you feel you guys are as far as an 11 and who's going to be taking the field this weekend?
Yeah, look, it's a very competitive roster, so this even lineups for this weekend, not 100% decided yet. So very, very competitive. And, but you want that as a coach. So very excited for what's ahead for sure.
And you guys got a good win in San Diego last season, a performance at Snapdragon Stadium. How much confidence does that give you guys as you go into this game? Or is it just, a new season, a new San Diego team?
Yeah, look, I mean, San Diego, I think their identity has remained the same. Obviously, they have personnel changes. They're doing some different things as well, so we got to be prepared for it. But yeah, no, I think we don't take any game like it was a tough game. If you actually look at it, we probably had, I think 32% of the ball. So it's a team that definitely loves to have the ball. So just making sure we're really compact defensively and our game plan with and without the ball will be really key for the game.
And just one more for me. I know, it's one game at a time. It's the first game of the season, but as you come into a new season and you've talked about making history and different things for this club, just what are the things that you're hoping to accomplish as you guys begin this new season?
Yeah, on the front foot. I think last year we were a team of two halves, both if you actually look at our statistics, whether when we scored goals, how we did in the second half of the season versus the first half of the season. So for us, we want to be a complete season, and so it starts with on the front foot, positive performance, and obviously resulting in a positive result.
Up next, we'll go with Diego. Go ahead.
Hey, Fabrice. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. I wanted to start off by asking you a little bit of kind of how San Diego you think are going to play. Kind of, you mentioned that they have kind of stuck to their identity. Can you give us kind of a brief outline of how you see that playing out?
Yeah, look, they're a team. Yeah, I mean they love to have the ball. They're calm under pressure. Yeah, they're not afraid to. They can beat you in behind, but they're also very good at just keeping it for long periods of time. So yeah, there are a lot of players that are very comfortable under pressure. So obviously, some players have left, but also they brought in, a striker like Ludmilla definitely opens things up for them. So yeah, no, they'll be dangerous for sure.
So that game in Snapdragon last season was a game where you brought in a lot of new players. Like that was Clarissa's first goal for the Dash, if I remember correctly. And now this season you get a full season of Lisa Boateng. Do you see them having big impacts if they make the starting 11 or if they come off the bench? And what do you expect from them throughout the season?
Yeah, no, huge impact players for us. Good to have both of them back and starting the preseason. So it's been very positive for both of them. And yeah, I'm excited to work with both of them. I think they're impact players, whether they start, whether they come off. We know we can rely on them, and they can be super impactful. So I'm excited for them as well.
And then understanding that a lot of the preseason games, whether at Coachella or like the closed friendly that was against the University of Texas at Austin, were like not accessibly viewed. Can you talk to us a little bit about your overall thoughts and your overall feelings about how the preseason went and if you saw any bright spots or any surprises from maybe your players?
Yeah, look, I think preseason went as we would want it to, especially the earlier games. We definitely are filling out who is our starting 11. Like I mentioned, it's not even clear who that is right now, which I think is a really good thing. And so that oftentimes, probably doesn't go as smooth, right? Because everyone's competing for one another. You're not getting the relationships down, those types of things. So I think preseason was definitely built for that. And I honestly think the last 2 weeks, even with the internationals gone, was very productive for us because you got a lot of players to get a lot of minutes who maybe wouldn't have gotten minutes. So overall, I couldn't have asked for a better preseason, if I'm being honest, from 2 NWSL teams, a USL team, and a very good Texas team that I know Marguerite will do extremely well there. So yeah, no, very pleased with preseason as a whole.
Awesome. Thanks, Fabrice. Good luck.
Thank you.
Roy, go ahead.
Hi, Fabrice. Thank you for being here as always. When you mentioned the starting 11 not being set, my mind jumped to just the sheer number and like talent of the rookies coming in. And I know you've had a lot of young talent come through the doors, even in the not that long since you've been here. But like, tell me a bit about that. Like, how are they adjusting, and how are you sort of looking at the opportunities they might have in what that you've seen them in preseason, but in their first regular season NWSL games?
Yeah, look, they have tons of quality. Obviously they're still young, but I mean they're hungry. They also add a lot of value, and I would say strength to our roster in terms of what they bring. If you look at a Kat and a Linda, very dynamic, that can play in the pocket, play out wide, quality chances in around the box, as we all know. Like, those are areas that we need to improve on. I think Kate Fossey speaks for herself, like just from her career standpoint, but also her ability to repeatedly sprint over an entirety of a game is pretty impressive, like just her fitness levels. And then I think Leah has come in and kind of just, been very impressive on the back line. So, and then not to mention Kate Harden has come in, and I mean, you got 5 rookies that, will have an impact on this team 100%. So very excited for them and how it also is adding to the competition level and how they're kind of integrating with the group as well.
Yeah, and it's a like you alluded to there. It's a pretty attack-minded rookie class, And I was thinking, Avery mentioned that her team goal even was to help ensure that the team gets more goals, and it made me think of Yaz specifically, and kind of how she was used last year, and different facets of her game. Like, based on the new personnel that you have, are you anticipating that she might be more in a place to facilitate and distribute than maybe she was last year when she was being asked to score a lot of goals? Like, where do you see her fitting in, to be most helpful?
Yeah, look, we see her. She could play a number of different positions. We expect her to have an impact season, just like she had last year, and even add more to her. So I think now there's a lot more pieces around her so that she can really flourish and do well. So yeah, we're excited to see not only how she does, but how the entirety team does, and as we gel together for the first game.
And then Avery mentioned, as far as improving her defense, she kind of jokingly said that it was a bit about being a pessimist and realizing that you can't always push forward and attack. I know you've seen her now have a full season of more of a defensive role. How have you seen it? What have been some of the main things that have been leading to her being able to handle that transition to more of a defensive role?
Well, I mean, she always played outside back, right? So I think she had a very high outside back starting position last year. This year, tweaking a little bit, but I think for her to continually be an impact player, not only for us, but also for the national team, she knows that's an area where she wants to keep growing in. And so I don't know if it's necessarily her role and her positioning. It's almost a little bit how she plays it, right? And just thinking always, yes, go forward, pick your moments, but also, as a defender, just being very sound in those moments as well.
Hi guys, we're gonna go ahead and get started here with defender Avery Patterson. Avery, the team kicks off the regular season away at San Diego. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, thank you, Emily. It's Emily Edgar's voice. It's yours. Well done. Obviously, excitement. I think NWSL opening weekend poses a lot of different things. I mean, it's a chance for us to show what we've been working on, but also how we stack up against other teams in the league. So yeah, a lot of excitement here in Houston.
And Dustin, go ahead.
Hey, Avery, how's it going?
Hey, Dustin, how are you?
Good. Hey, coming off She Believes Cup, for you, how important was that getting some meaningful minutes in that game and going into the season with that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was a surprise going, but just as honored and just as grateful as I would have been if the call up had been from the original group of girls. Obviously, huge minutes for me. Gets your confidence up, gets your feet underneath you in game minutes. I realized before that game that we hadn't played like a 90-minute game since November, since Portland, and I had my black eye, so I only played 45 minutes in that 90-minute game. But yeah, awesome to get minutes underneath my legs and get back into the groove of things.
And just looking ahead to San Diego, I know there's been a lot of talk about Kiki getting to play her sister. How cool is that for you guys as just her teammates and friends of them?
It's awesome, especially because Mimi Van Zanten's my favorite Van Zanten. Kiki and Mimi are such a close duo, and seeing their relationship off the field, it's, again, I keep using the term excitement, but we're so excited for the both of them. And it's just such a meaningful game for Kiki to be able to play against someone who she's kind of missed just by a little bit. I think they're 4 years apart. So, I mean, it's going to be an emotional day, even for girls that aren't in the Van Zanten family, but just seeing them and knowing their relationship, I'm really excited for them.
Diego, go ahead.
Hey, Avery, how's it going?
Hi, Diego. Good. How are you?
Good. So you're heading to your first game of the season. It starts away. Last year, y'all were typically more successful on the road than y'all were at home. Do you see that continuing the season, or do you kind of see it not really being important, or kind of do you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think we were susceptible to losses away last year, like you said, but that's something that we've been kind of working on in the offseason. I think it's a mentality thing more than a technical execution or a tactical execution. It's really our mindset heading into games. How do we make an away game feel like a home game? We did have a really good away game at San Diego last year. So how can we continue that momentum, from playing at Snapdragon last year into playing at Snapdragon this year? And again, it's just a mindset and more than anything else, more than like the execution piece. So yeah, we have addressed it, and that is something that we're conscious of heading into the game.
And then both the San Diego game where y'all won at Snapdragon, but also the one where y'all were able to rally those 2 goals at Shell. A big vulnerability was the wing play and you kind of having to switch all over the place. And having Lisa now go into her first full season as a player of the Dash, do you see that alleviating kind of that issue for you and for the defense or something along the lines of that?
Yeah, I don't think I would have categorized it as an issue, but it is going to be a strength this year for us as well, is having a true left back. I think that she brings consistency. She brings, hard-nosed defending. So having her on the field and having her being a reliable player for us this year is going to be something that's huge for us.
And then kind of a look like throughout the season to kind of ask you, do you have any personal goals, and any team goals that you want to put out there before we start the season?
Yeah, actually that was in our first meeting of the year, was everyone went around, said a personal goal and a team goal. And I said for both, I would like for both to score more goals, and for the goal to be goals, and for me to contribute to the stat sheet, both, assist wise, goals wise, but also as a team, scoring consistently throughout the season. I think, there are some times where in my tenure here, it's been, there've been goal droughts where, we've tied games, but we also haven't scored in games. So I think being a team that consistently puts points on the board is going to be a goal for us, for us this year.
Awesome. Thanks. Good luck.
Thanks.
Rory, go ahead.
Hi, Avery. Thanks for being here. I guess I would love to start by just following up on that. Just as far as developing, an offense and an attack that can score team goals, what do you think have been some of the main things that you guys have improved on or been focusing on this offseason and in preseason to make that a reality?
Yeah, I think I mentioned this earlier, but it really is a mindset and a mentality piece. It's not that, we don't have girls that are good at finishing or good at shooting. It's really getting in the positions to have those opportunities in the first place. And again, I think that's a mindset of how many players can we get forward? How many people can we get in our attacking half of the field rather than, defending 8 behind the ball? Can we afford to have 4 behind the ball and, however many 6 up the field? So, it's a tactical thing, but it's also a mindset thing of let's get into the box as much as we can.
Yeah, that makes sense. One of the things that I also feel like I've seen, even just in your game, is like the ability to keep up the offensive output, like even while you're transitioning to more of a full-time like defensive role. Like, what do you feel like has been like the key to keeping up your offensive contribution even as you've been moving further back in the line?
Yeah, it's not something that I'm conscientious of just because I think that I am more naturally inclined to be a more offensive player. I think what I am working on is to not hinder that, but to be more disciplined defensively. I think my tendency and what I do so naturally is go forward. So I think that's not something that I'm super conscious of, but rather something that I need to be aware of, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm answering your question, but that isn't something that I necessarily feel like I need to work on because that is something that I do too much of, if anything, in the first place. So honestly, being more disciplined defensively is what I am trying to improve on.
So I guess I'll ask sort of the converse of that to get to that. Like, what are the like the bells ringing in your head that you kind of have to ignore in order to stay back defensively?
That is the question at hand. I think what I have to ignore is, or not ignore, but pay more attention to is our rest defense. Because again, like I'm an optimist from being a forward and an attacking player my entire career, so, up until becoming a pro. So I'm always thinking, oh, it'll work out, it'll be fine. Like when in reality, a lot of the times I need to be the opposite of that and be a pessimist and to anticipate the worst possible outcome instead of the best. So that's what I'm kind of listening to in my head or trying to ignore is no, we can't go forward all the time. We have to make sure that everything is secure before we can, fly forward on the wings. But if that answers your question.
That very much does. Thank you.
Okay, perfect.